Hello? Hello. Hello, Akiro. Hello, Ragdoll. Hello. Phoenix Wright. There he be. It's the lad with the big hand. That's not perspective, that's actual size. How we doing? We're doing good. Having libraried up. It's the library gang. Good time. Sorry, I'm sorting things out for stream. I'm ready. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm here. Everything's grand. So, how am I? I'm okay. Inexplicably spent the day writing. A lot of writing today. I planned on working on June's comic, but writing it was, apparently. So, yeah. Many ideas, many silly things. All good stuff. New crossword. Because that's what everyone wanted. That was just a little thing. That wasn't the bulk of the work. But anyway. No canopy out for you at the moment, though your library isn't listed there yet. Oh, no. Well, I hope you can find lots of cool stuff anyway. Canopy or no canopy. Search around the roots. The forest floor. Trunk it up. Hoping to. Yeah. But yes, my microphone's in the wrong place. 1 second. There we go, now I can see the stream. Or the screen. Well done, Tish. Thank you. But yee. We're back. Defending the lead prosecutor, who has admitted to the crime of murdering an investigator, although we have now discovered that the main reason she seems to be admitting to it, I mean, she hasn't denied it, and we haven't proved she hasn't done it, but also at the same time, she has a certain element of guilt, it seems, for possibly falsifying evidence in a previous case at the behest of the chief of police, who is now the chief of police, who was something else, I don't know, I always forget all the details, like job titles and stuff. Library might have other things it uses, you can always ask them. Yeah. Have a look. The library is full of wonders. Everybody library around. Library up. Library. Do whatever you need to do for a library, such that you can actually pronounce the word library, unlike me, who just turns into a gibbering puddle of pudding. Library. I'm fine up to the... I got lie. I'm sorted with lie. It's the brr that's the problem. Much like the old Scottish purple burglar alarm. My weakness is library. But hey, yes, sorry, we're doing this. And what's happened? So we have discovered that the case that Lana might have falsified evidence for took place, or that was the scene of the crime. The SL9 incident, sorry, in which a proposed serial killer was stabbed. No, he wasn't stabbed. He stabbed someone else. Was in what is now Gant's office. He's not letting us in there. However, Gumshoe has just given us his card because he's realised that Edgeworth is threatening to resign, and he has a crush on Edgeworth. So, you know, struggle with that word too. It's like February and library. I just cut out a syllable. February, library. February and library. That's basically how I do it. Just if you drag that syllable out long enough, it sounds like two. Library, February. Edgeworth can have two husbands. Our husband can have a husband. There was nothing stopping him. But yeah, I also like to imagine that Edgeworth is completely oblivious to it. So yes, we have now been given the card, and our next objective is to investigate that room with the organ. He has a massive organ in his room, because of course he does. Can you tell he's evil? He's an evil man. So yeah, let's go to the chef's office. Sorry, chief's office. February 24th, Police Department Chief's Office, say. It's black, we haven't actually started. Here it goes, Mr. Wright. Click. Beep. And we're in. We also know that there is a system that checks people's cards when you use them on security things, so, people are definitely going to know that, Gumshoe gave us the card. And he's like, oh, I'm going to lose my job, but I might lose it anyway if this whole thing falls apart, so I'm Edgeworth's friend, and if he goes down, I'm probably going to go down with him. Poor guy. We're in! If anyone finds us now... Detective Gumshoe's a goner. If that happens, I'm counting on you to bail me out. Ah! Why are you here? What a good start. Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I didn't even know you could slap a ghost. Ah, Detective Gumshoe. Slow reactions. What are you doing sneaking up on us like that? I wasn't sneaking. I was just worried something might go wrong. So I came too. If you're here, then what was the point in giving us your ID card? Gumshoe's ID card crushed and rendered unusable in pocket. What is happening? Hey, don't do that to my card. Well, that happened. Wasn't expecting it to start like this. I hardly ever get a chance to come in here, so I figured I'd have a look around myself. Besides, we're all in this together now. You really do want to get fired, don't you? Not if we're lucky. Now come on, let's see what we can find out. Yeah, I've got a bad feeling about this. Do indeed. Now he has to turn in a lost item report anyway, exactly. Can we just like rub out Goodman's name on the previous one? That desk on the other side of the room, was that your sister's? Yeah, that's where I was waiting for Alana when the crime happened. On that day, 2 years ago. Is anyone using it now? No, sir. This is entirely Chief Gant's office now. He practices a strict policy of preserving the crime scene. That's a strange reason to leave it there. He leaves it as a warning to everyone else. He wants us to always be on alert. He told us so himself at our New Year's party. Of course, he was pretty intoxicated at the time. I see. So ever since Lana left, no one ever touches that desk? No one except Chief Gant and the cleaning lady who's in here each morning. Still, 2 years have passed since that incident. There can't possibly be any clues remaining. Chief Gant. But 6 episodes of Inside Number 9 are at least on Hoopla. Hooray! As I said, I think the first series is the roughest, but it's still good. There's still good stuff in there. Ragdoll got past the first 2 episodes, which I'm worried had slightly dodgy humor in them, but it's 10 years ago, I think. Hopefully you can see past it. Can I ask you something? Sure. You only came in to look around, right? Because it's one of the SL9 crime scenes? I mean, that's your only reason for coming in here, right? Why do you ask? You don't think... Nah, you wouldn't be. No. No, there's no way. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Okay. Now then, let's look around a bit more. Hey, hold on. Not so fast, buddy. Huh? What is it? When someone tells you don't worry about it, it's supposed to start bothering you, pal. You don't just let it go at that. Sorry. This guy's starting to get on my nerves. No, he's not on the nerves. Give him a hug. Okay, so what's bothering you? You two don't think Chief Gant might be a suspect, do you? What? He's right, Mr. Wright. What do we think of him? Swoosh. Chief Gant. So it's finally come to this. What do I think of him? Perhaps it's best I don't divulge my feelings yet. There you go, ignoring me again. Aw, pat. Give hug. Let's have a little look around, shall we? Ostentatious windows. You can see pretty far from 15 stories up. If you were to drop that suit of armor from here... At first, the chief wanted to use stained glass for this window. Really? Why didn't he? They say he changed his mind because he wouldn't be able to see the view. Oh. Stained glass or not, it's a huge window. It is rather. This is the real deal, isn't it? This armor and these weapons?
Sure is, pal. The chief doesn't care for imitations.
First the pipe organ, now this armor. Do you know how many taxpayer dollars that must have gone into this room? What? You mean we're paying for this? That's it, I'm not paying 1 more cent of my taxes. You don't have any taxes to pay.
Shh, be careful what you say. Who knows, the chief might be hiding in his armor as we speak.
I don't think he'd fit in there. Even if he did, he'd never be able to get back out.
Cut it out. You guys don't know how scary that guy can be.
Whoops. Phone. Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk. Speaking of that, when we were here earlier...
Oh, it's you two!
Chief Gant! He put that paper he was reading in his desk. I wonder what he was reading.
This looks like a list of evidence.
A list of evidence?
In most cases, the list runs twice as long as this, though.
Hey, look at the case name.
Huh? SL9 incident. Wonder what this is doing here.
Hold on, detective. What did you just say?
I said, I wonder what...
No, about evidence lists. Normally they're twice as long?
That's right. I guess there wasn't a lot of evidence.
Half-size list of evidence.
The list of evidence. It seems too short. Most lists run twice as long.
What would the other half of the list be doing here? What was the other half? I just thought it was a copy. I knew it! The chief must be hiding something about that case! It would appear so. Evidence list. List of evidence in the SL9 incident was ripped in half, so this part is all I've got. More desk shenanigans? Look at the size of the desk. We found this inside the drawer. A list of evidence from the SL9 incident. Mr. Edgeworth had the other half of that list. What would this list be doing here? We'd better look a little more into this. A safe. This is a safe, isn't it?
Safe. That word is ripe with intrigue.
Okay, if you say so. It looks like a code is needed to be entered in this panel to open it. Have we tried all 7s? 7-digit number. I think I might just know what it is. Sorry. I don't want an alarm going off. Input.
Do you know what it is?
I have a hunch.
Oh, I know. You want to try my birth date. It's...
I have a better idea. Here goes nothing. Yay, ba-bing! Bingo!
What number did you enter? Whose birthday was it, pal?
7777777. The final ID card on that robot. What? The number of the mysterious executive officer who entered the room that day.
You mean 7777777? That ID number?
No, I think you're 1 7 shy this time. I keep reading it correctly, which is wrong. This could only mean one thing. That's Chief Gant's ID number. Maybe not. Stay! Anyone care to look inside? Not sure, but...
Is there any money in there? How much does he have stashed away?
Look! It's...
A shard from a broken cup.
This somehow looks familiar. Where have I seen this before? There's something else in here, too. Ooh. What's this? Looks like a piece of leather cloth. With a handprint. This is a handprint, isn't it?
Hey, I saw someone wearing a shirt like that once. You think the chief made up the design?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, it was just a thought.
Is that it? Is that all that was in the safe? Apparently so. It's empty now.
Piece of cloth with a handprint on it, and a broken shard from a cup.
They look like pieces of evidence.
Yeah, but unless you can prove they have something to do with the case, I'm afraid I can't just let you take them. After all, it's my neck on the line here.
Great. Now I have to prove their relevancy to get them. How are these two items related to the SL9 incident?
Come on, there's gotta be something we can show the detective.
Well, I'm going to keep looking around the room first. Before we carry on with that line of reasoning. Organ. Touch Chief Gant's organ.
The chief's organ sure is a sight to behold. Occasionally we hear him playing it from the criminal affairs department.
This could all be very misconstrued. That's on the 2nd floor, and this is the 15th floor of an entirely different building.
When a detective screws up, the chief calls them into this office and makes them listen to the organ for hours.
What's so bad about that?
Music soothes the soul. Well, after that, the detective can't hear anything for days, except for the ringing in their ears.
So, it's an instrument of punishment, literally. But aren't the chief's ears affected?
He never listens to anyone anyway.
That's besides the point. That was very witty. I was expecting Gumshoe to be witty. This mark looks like some kind of flower.
Well, it is. It's designed after the insignia on the prosecutor's badge.
Prosecutor's badge?
Yeah, like the one hanging from your collar.
What? They have badges too?
The design's supposed to portray the severity of the punishment system.
Now that you mention it, it does look all pointy and kind of painful. But Mr. Edgeworth never wears a badge.
That's because he's a sharp dresser. A badge like that wouldn't go too well with his outfit.
So sharp dressers don't need to wear badges?
Yeah, I guess everyone just kind of lets it slide.
I don't see how that's supposed to signify severe punishment. Interesting. Slide. Let it slide. Look at this again. This was taken on that day 2 years ago. Same day. The day Joe Dark ran out of the questioning room and tried to kill Emma.
After receiving his award trophy, Mr. Marshall took a picture here. Then went along with Chief Gant to question Doc. I bet he never knew he'd be dead in just a few hours later.
Gee, you think? Be a bit weird if he did. No. These shelves are mostly empty. Lana must have cleaned them out when she was transferred over to the prosecutor's office. There's a small picture frame on the left shelf. Hey! This is when Lana and I went to that theme park. Theme park? Show me. Show me the theme park. Big window.
Look at that giant window. Makes you want to crash through it and jump outside.
This is the 15th floor.
But I know, I was just saying.
Saying what?
Ever since making Detective, I've always dreamed about doing something like that.
Note to self, Detective Gumshoe has a lot of dreams. So long as he doesn't go crashing through that window when he gets fired. Don't say that! Computer. This was Lana's desk. Sure is tidy. Lana's always been a meticulous cleaner. There's not even any dust on it. Looks like somebody's still keeping it clean. Does Lana ever come back here?
No. Chief Gant must still keep it clean in memory of their partnership. They were the stuff of legends are made of.
Does he keep it in memory of her or in the memory of the crime? Interesting. Right, let's show some stuff to old Shuey. Gummy? I don't want to call him Gummy. Okay, first things first. This. Detective Gumshoe, could you have another look at this jar?
Yeah, I remember when the three of us put that back together. Those were the days.
It's kind of early to be nostalgic. Wasn't this jar a piece of evidence from that case?
That's right. One of the shards had a Cell 9 incident sticker on it.
Doesn't this just ring any bells? You know, that fragment we just found?
You mean this one that was in the safe?
Yeah, that one. That was in the safe.
Now that you mention it, it's ringing a lot of bells. Let's see if it fits.
Assemble fragments. Here, let me see that shard. I'll take a crack at this.
Go ahead, pal. Show us what a rookie can do.
Mr. Wright, here's some glue. You don't have to be so enthusiastic about handing me glue. If I can piece this together again, it'll prove Chief Gant was knowingly hiding evidence. Here goes. Swing. Swish swing. What? Oh, no, I do get it. I just can't remember the controls. But it has to. Well, I need a breather. I'll try again later. Okay, let's try it again. I'm bad at games. It's fine. Think over the library packet you were given today. It may please you to know that their official floor map, the bottom floor, is called the ground floor, and the one above is the first floor. Right, assemble fragments. Read the controls this time. Right, here it is. We can rotate. Like that. Combine. Bada bing, there we go. Interesting. This is an old town comparatively, and buildings have ground floors and such too. Nice. Doctor's office does that too. There! Fits like a charm. That, of course, means Chief Gant willingly and knowingly hid a piece of this jar in his safe. In other words, he concealed a piece of evidence from the SL9 incident. But...
Hey guys, get a load of this.
what is it?
This piece you just attached. It's different from the others.
There's a reddish line on it. A reddish line. That's blood. Dun, dun, dun. Blood.
I don't get it. Why would Chief Gant hide this in his safe?
Unstable jar. Updated in the court record. Evidence from the SL9 incident. Final fragment found in Chief Gant's safe. Blood traces. You got anything else to talk about, or should we start showing other things that you don't? Okay. It's a noobs! Yo! We've been poking around an office. Gumshoe came with us for some reason, and then we destroyed his ID card. Should we try this? I don't know.
Can't believe Officer Marshall would do something like that.
You know Officer Marshall? How you doing, Noobs? You alright? You doing good? I don't know if I asked that yet, but I've asked it now. Hooray! You had a lovely day. I hope you have. To no one's surprise, Gant had the 7777777 ID number indeed.
Of course I do. It was like a mentor to me. When I first started out, he even gave me a small cactus.
Really?
He said, Dick, she'll listen to all your troubles.
Note to self, Detective Gumshoe talks to a cactus.
Hard to believe he's just a patrolman now. Someone ought to trade places with him. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
Okay, so it wasn't that. Handprint. Have a glub. Present glub.
If I'm fired, I won't be able to give you any information. So that's why I have to get it all out of my system now. You understand, don't you?
Don't be so negative, Detective. We do want you to share your information, though.
Oh, who am I fooling? I never had anything useful to share to begin with.
Got to stay positive. We can do fingerprinting. Detective Gumshoe, I'd like you to have a look at this.
Hey, I know what that is. So you want to take some fingerprints?
That's a great idea, Detective.
All right, go to town, sheesh. What are you doing? Why are you sticking out your hand like that? Go ahead, take my fingerprints.
Oh, that was me. What are you doing? Why are you sticking your hand out like that?
Go ahead, take my fingerprints.
It's not your fingerprints we want to take.
Huh?
Come on, this isn't the time for jokes. We're talking about that cloth we found in the safe.
Oh, I knew that. The one with the handprint on it, right? Sheesh, where's your sense of humor?
It's 7 sevens. 7 7 7 7 7 7 7. Okay, Mr. Wright, let's check for prints. Want to take fingerprints of the cloth? Yes, it's got a handprint on it, so cloth doesn't have hands. There's a print. It's fine. It does make sense this one time. Sprinkle the powder on the cloth. Then, once they've been absorbed into the prints, blow the rest away. What are you, my mum? I don't have to be told a million times. All right, let's get this over with. How do I do this? This one. I have to choose a print. The one bit she didn't tell me. Too many sevens. Who are you, Gumshoe? Print. I gave it my best shot. That kind of result won't be any good for matching prints, will it? Yeah, but it doesn't look like we'll get a clearer result from this print. Okay, let's try a different finger then. Can do. Middle finger. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Skitter, skitter, scatter. Dust, dust, dust. Ashes to ashes. More. They want more dust. In this economy. There we go. Boom. Hammer. Oh. Oh. I see. I see now. Okay, a lot of things making sense now. No, how can this be? What are Emma's fingerprints doing here? Hey, you found a match? Whose fingerprints were they? Yeah, seems the prints is too old. No, they aren't clear enough to get a match. Oh, yeah, that's too bad. I thought they'd be Dark's prints.
Psst. Hey, you, over here. We're gonna slide. What's going on here? What are that kid's prints doing inside the chief's safe?
Don't ask me. Just keep this information from Emma for now.
Yeah, maybe you should hold on to this.
A piece of cloth folded and added to the court record. Found the Jeep can safe. Evidence for something, but what? Bears Emma Sky's prints. Look, well.
Well, was that any help?
Of course. Thanks to your ID card, and what's left of it, we were able to get some hard evidence. I'm guessing this is, what's his face? That's not, well, we don't know, so default voice. No, that's not very kind, is it? In other words, if it wasn't for his ID card, he would have been useless. There he is.
Isn't that right, you in the coat?
Chief Gant.
Oh, we didn't think he'd be back so soon.
Fortunately, I'm a man who believes in signs. As I was walking to my meeting, I happened to look out of a window and saw a stray dog run right into a pole. Just then I thought of a certain detective.
Do you mean me, sir?
Now then, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask you all to leave.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Oh, you in the coat.
Me, sir?
Drop off your ID on the way out. You won't be needing it anymore.
But, sir...
Now get out.
Oh, he's doing an evil face. Look at it. He's got an evil face.
Yes, sir.
We'll be on our way too, then.
Wait, you, the one without the spiky hair. Don't go yet.
Me, sir?
I'd like a word with you.
But sir, I'm not a licensed scientific investigator yet.
You with the spiky hair, you're free to go.
Mr. Wright?
It's all special. Look, pal, if I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. The chief's office is off limits. But no, you just had to go sneaking in there like that, didn't you?
I thought you said you didn't care anymore if you were fired.
Yeah, but if I knew it'd be like this, I never would have said it.
Now that I've seen the evidence Chief Kent was hiding in his office, I think I'm finally starting to get the picture. But why has she kept eerily silent about it this whole time?
Anyway, you listening to me? I'm gonna try to smooth things over with the chief again. Later, pal.
Bye. You're not gonna? After that, I heard from Emma. She said the police wanted to ask her some questions. So she'll be busy for the rest of the day. February 24th, Detention Center Visitors Room. Hi, Hader. I see. So the chief asked Emma to come in for questioning. It's no use thinking about it. Tomorrow's the final day in court. I'm committed to doing everything I can to defend you, which is why I'm here. But I've already told you all I can. What you've told me over these past couple of days is absolutely nothing. Not a single useful thing. Really? I believe I did mention something quite important. Something I told you right at the beginning. I said that I was the one who stabbed Detective Goodman. You know, I think I've finally figured it out. I know who it is that's lurking behind your words. Mia did a good job mentoring you. I'm rather jealous. Huh? It seems Edgeworth was right. Edgeworth? Once you're convinced you know something, no one can persuade you otherwise. Thick-headed is the term he used, I believe. Cheers, Edgy. Now's my chance to get her to tell me the rest of the story. Yes, keeping quiet. That's the opposite of what I want you to do. Talk, please. I have to admit I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insisted you did it, yet there was no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth. It's that you're incapable of doing so because of a certain individual. What an intriguing notion. A certain individual, you say. So, you think I'm protecting this person? Protecting? No, I'm afraid of is more like it. He doesn't get it. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you to silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, whom, may I ask, is this person you're speaking of? Of whom is this person you are speaking? The one I am supposedly so frightened of. What is this person's name? I mean, Gant. Say that! You don't say that. Somebody in the... whatever. Well, Miss Sky? Mr. Wright, you are addressing the chief prosecutor. Do not forget your place. I take it she's still not ready to spill the beans. My apologies. Could you please tell me a bit more about what you think you know? Damongant. His name is an anagram of demon... gnat. He's a demon gnat. No, that's not right. This is Gant, isn't it? Not Ghent. Thought it was an E. I'm bad. We were partners until 2 years ago. I respected him as a detective. Assuming he is respectable, then tell me something. Why would he try and hide his crimes? His crimes? Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry for what you did. Specifically, hiding and forging evidence. Of course, these are serious offenses. Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned? Chief Gant? Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind the forgery. The only party who could possibly have tampered with the evidence was me. I had access because I was second in command of that investigation. Yes, you, but also one other. Damon Gant. Whoops. Hit my drink. He is a gnat, though. His last name still is an anagram of gnat. There's just no demon there. Trying to find out the anagrams. There's not many vowels, there's the problem. No, got it. If you intend to accuse Chief Gant, you'll need more than just words. Show me proof that Chief Gant falsified evidence in that case. Well, there was this. There! I just found this in a safe in the chief's office. This jar piece and this piece of cloth. Do you know what these are? They're pieces of evidence from the SL9 incident. The person concealing evidence was none other than Chief Gant himself. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him? Pretty sure he's still a demon, that's fair. Touché, Mr. Wright. It's as you surmised, I cannot disobey the chief's orders, even if it means being found guilty for murder. Why not? Come now, Mr. Wright, you can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate. In the murder of Detective Goodman. Or perhaps I should say, follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. Orders! Although I can't tell you the details, I can say that I was given an order that day.
I need you to dispose of Bruce Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Miles Edgeworth's car.
Just as I suspected. Despite what everyone believes, you were not the one who murdered Detective Goodman. Correct. I was trying to take the body out of Edgeworth's car. The trunk's lock was broken, and I discovered that murder weapon while inspecting the body. The murder weapon? You mean Edgeworth's knife? No. When I found the body, this was the knife stuck in it. The knife from the SL9 incident. Serial killer Joe Dark's knife. I couldn't just leave that knife in him, so I took it out and stabbed him with another knife. That would be Edgeworth's knife. That's right. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my hand. And that is the reason for the bandage on your right hand? Yes. It seems I got blood on the victim's shoes as well. And then she saw me, just as I plunged the knife in. Ms. Starr, huh? Why did you need to hide Dark's knife so badly? Knife! It took a lot of work to finally close the Dark case 2 years ago. I was over with. I didn't ever want it to be opened again. My intent was to prevent that by whatever means possible. So, you hid Dark's knife. The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in the Joe Dark case. If word got out, which it would, the reporters would have a field day with that. So, you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it in Edgeworth's exhaust pipe, or muffler. You muffled the knife in the muffler. Right. Then I called my sister to tell her what happened and ask her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler. You asked Emma? I didn't want anyone on the force to know about this. That would explain why Emma's so confident about Lana's innocence. Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them that day. A bad feeling? The truth is, after I received those orders from Chief Gant, the first thing I did was make a phone call. A phone call to Patrolman Jake Marshall. The Marshall? Why on earth would you call him? The lead investigator for the SL9 incident had been murdered. I wanted that fact to be kept hidden, and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust. Or at least, I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seems that after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade of his own. Oh, you mean... Not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands. He disguised himself as Detective Goodman and tried to steal the evidence. He'd already stolen the ID card, but it seems he hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, any remaining doubts he had must have disappeared. So, your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room. I also like how I'm calmly saying a sentence that ends with an exclamation mark and a question mark. Like, so, your phone call ended in the incident in the evidence room! I'm afraid that's all I can tell you. But Lana... You've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and an investigator. One of which you're legally allowed to do. Now, please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow. Tomorrow's trial. There's only one way to drive off Lana's demons. I've got to get to the bottom of everything. Everything. Detective Goodman's real murder. And what went down in the chief's office 2 years ago. Exciting times. To court! Sorry, to be continued. I don't know where be continued is, but we're going there. Yay! Court! Hurrah! February 25th. That's Christmas. No, hang on. 9:47 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 2. This is the defendant's lobby, all right, but there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? Almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Aha, hello. Edgeworth! Edgy! Sorry, Edgeworth! Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 7777777 ID number is, that is.
Well, I have a pretty strong hunch.
Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything.
True. Not yet.
In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, Wright, and Chief Prosecutor will be found guilty. Chief Prosecutor Sky.
But you didn't do it.
I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say.
This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Care about the defendant. Lana's hiding something. The only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her.
The truth? What's that? Is that evidence?
Everything goes back to the SL9 incident.
Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past.
That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened.
I'll think about it. See you in court, Wright?
Collusion with the prosecution. This is it. If I'm ever gonna find out about what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. I would have thought it's relatively obvious, but we'll see how it goes. February 25th, 10 a.m., District Courtroom number 9. Bang.
Court is now in session for the trial of Ms. Lana Sky.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make.
Chief Gant. Here he is. Yeah, this is...
Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, RJ, I've been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that.
If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours?
Lana, that is to say the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court.
She wants to do what?
Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble.
What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished.
Well then, what's your request?
Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial.
Huh?
I confess to all charges against me. On February the 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office.
No, Lana. Objection. Bang. You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea.
In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services.
But Lana...
Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please.
Is the judge supposed to be here, or... No, it's facing the other way, right? Oh, that's the entrance? That's the door? I don't know. The camera's spinning all over the place in this court.
Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. Her request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation.
I don't think you could do that, man. Yes, but this is also this judge we're talking about, so who knows? Bang.
Indeed, it appears there is no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise.
How about edgy? This can't be happening. Another example of things that make you super uncomfortable, but also good and effective because they're uncomfortable in every way. That bastard David Gant, yeah. I get riled up about injustice. Luckily, this is comedic enough to not be so annoying. But it's good to have someone like Gant. You're like, I hate you.
It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant.
Objection? One moment, Your Honor.
But Mr. Edgeworth.
The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature.
Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you, but why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, huh?
I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant.
What?
Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. He's all in. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes.
Some kind of deal, huh? Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy.
I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness.
Oh, to whom?
As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Ms. Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony.
Oh, Gant, you're the husbandy boyfriend.
Hold it. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue. Ironic, stopping that word halfway through. I don't care what you think, Ms. Emma Skye. Lana Skye, what did I say? I don't care what you think. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Bang.
Very well. The court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy, you'll live to regret this, mark my words.
Ms. Emma Skye, please take the stand.
Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Off we go. Husbando teams up. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go.
Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation.
But my name is Emma. Emma Skye. My occupation? I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator.
Sorry, oops, she is involved in this. Luckily, Miss isn't here. We're fine. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct?
Yeah? I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time.
Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant?
Yes, it most certainly is.
Well, okay then.
He sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. Although we will get to cross-examine her. I think Miss will like that. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. Two years ago. Edgeworth's sick of this.
I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest.
No, he didn't.
It's a good thing you weren't harmed.
I passed out. I don't remember much.
That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder?
That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Says you.
Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination.
Well, we're going to press on everything, but I think I know what I'm going to contradict.
I was waiting in my sister's office that day.
Hold it! Get to shout at her. Hold it! 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct?
Yeah, she was second in command under the then Deputy Chief of Police, Gant. My sister, she was the best detective ever.
Yes, I remember. The Deputy Chief Gant. Miss Sky used to be quite the pair.
The deputy. That's a word now. I'm sticking with it.
I believe they shared the same office.
Tough words, Feeney. Feeney?
That's right.
Makes more sense than Nick. I'll take Feeney over Nick.
I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day, too.
The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day.
Lana Providence to take me to dinner after she finished work.
We'll get to Feeney. Oh, is that actually a thing? It's not like you waltz in every court case barely having glanced at the case you're about to litigate, yeah.
A man came running in and he took me hostage.
Man?
Yeah, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer.
Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of the ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest.
When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right?
Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Sky and Gant's office.
There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. And that's when I saw him.
But it already happened. No, we'll get there. We'll get there, eventually.
Neil Marshall rescued me. I can't say his name. I'm sorry. I'm very nervous.
What was the prosecutor doing then?
That day, there were two people present during Dark's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
Almost forgot about Gant.
Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. Dedicated.
I assume that would also be why he was the first to run after Dark.
When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead.
And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in.
I don't clearly remember what happened then, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. I don't remember clearly, but I'll never forget.
Can you tell us all about that?
Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then, the lights went out.
The lights? The lights? I can speak, it's fine.
It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby.
Girl, what are you talking about? She's 15. So, the electricity went out.
Wait a minute. You put the lamb in the coconut? If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right?
Right, but just then, lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind.
I see.
I told the detective about what I saw then.
The detective?
Yeah, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case.
Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. Hear more? Why are you giving me a choice to hear more? Is it just a breather? I don't know. So, you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago?
Yeah, that's what's so scary about this trial.
And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw.
Yeah, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture.
A picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before.
Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough?
Ask about the picture. I mean, just give me interesting. This picture the witness drew, I believe it has very important meaning.
But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture.
Right.
Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony?
Yes, Your Honor. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost.
We haven't actually read. We're role-playing Phoenix here, and we haven't actually read the evidence we've been given, including this evidence list that we got. We still can't read it. Okay, well. Oh, hello. Well, there we are. I was expecting to read it on there, but sure, that works as well. A picture is drawn on the back of the evidence list in magic marker. Got a very bad feeling about this. Got it. Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its existence.
Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture.
I turned a paper around. Like we should have done in the first case. Used them as Phoenix, methinks mayhaps. Oh no. That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold! Very dramatic.
This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident.
Please turn it over, Your Honor.
Turn it over. Turn it. Ah! What's this?
Yes, what is that?
Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew. Sir, are you okay? You're smelling burning toast.
Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here.
What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list?
Me?
Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list.
Huh? These lists, they're different from each other.
What?
It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here, where they were torn apart from each other.
Edgeworth didn't notice that this thing was ripped. Oh, what a good prosecutor. Convinced the reason why this case is so long is because Maya and Mia aren't here. Different lists, perish the thought. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you.
What? What?
Match made in stupid.
Order, order! Just two. But Miss Sky, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list?
Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Bang. Your Honor?
Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head.
If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list.
Yes, that's quite conceivable. Mr. Edgeworth, have you ever turned over a piece of paper?
It's possible. Let's see.
Is something wrong?
Do you even have to ask?
Sorry, Your Honor. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list.
Looks like an A4 sheet. It's... whatever, it's fine. Yeah, well, it was originally an A3 sheet.
It's that thing.
Oh. Just leave this going. I'm convinced this is just what's playing in his head. Not just now, I mean in general.
That's that thing. That thing that was dancing in the evidence room.
Clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives.
I guess he was out of scrap paper. List of evidence. Oh, yeah, it was held together horizontally like that. It was actually A3 sheet. There you go. The sound will haunt dreams. It'll go alongside. I was about to make a reference there, but I don't think anyone here was in the Dutch strip. But the music that played on the clown ride. Almost, but not quite the "It's a Mystery" tune. The people seem to have strong feelings regarding the Blue Badger in this theme because of this damn case. It's fair. Does it come up again? Does the Blue Badger return? Oh, damn. Restored and added to the court record. Boom, it's gone.
Very well. Witness, will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago?
I'm assuming that's actually something to do with the vase, not the Blue Badger. Huh? Yes, sir, Your Honor. What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. Never seen her do that before. Actually thinking. Witness testimony, Emma's picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant.
To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind.
Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw.
Well, I don't see any contradiction here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Emma's picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. Question, hold it. Did you draw this picture right after the incident? I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first, I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything. During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Skye. 2 or 3 days later. The memory should still have been fresh in her mind.
Excuse me, witness. But can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black?
The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. So, at the time, you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue? No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, and I was knocked to the floor. You were knocked to the floor? Dark had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed. A day later, when I was washing the blood off my hands, I realized they were already dead. Poor Emma. Just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flashed? After that, I must have fainted. Hold it. What does that mean? You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place? No, I'm sorry. The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Right. Do you really need to torture this girl any further? You called her to the witness stand. What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here. Anyway, this picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. Bang. Sorry for asking so many times, but you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course! This is the exact scene! Yeah, it wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives? Bang. Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. I better watch out or I might find some way to cut mice out. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me.
Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture?
Huh? Oh, well... That's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. Left-handed? Hang on. I mean, the contradiction I want to point out is the fact that she said he was stabbed in the chest and he was stabbed in the back. But that was in the previous testimony, not this one. Missing a tip, Neil Marshall. Every time we see the guy, he's holding a knife in his right hand. But we also don't have that as evidence. Joe Dark, nothing there.
This is the picture I drew 2 years ago, etc., etc.
That's exactly what I saw in that instant. I still want to bring that up, but I don't know if that's the right thing. They did the smile, but you're legitimately trying to remember. You don't remember the exact contradiction, if there is one. Also, we haven't examined this since we put it back together. Let's do that. Just while I'm here. Dark red stains must be blood traces from the incident 2 years ago. Only a fragment found in Chief Gunt's office still has lines remaining on it. But it spells something. Let's give it a save. And start, whoops. Start pressing on things. I'm gonna go with the thing that says he was stabbed in the back. Even though from this angle it actually looks like he probably would have been stabbed in the back. But I'll do whatever. We'll go with it. See what happens. Objection! This evidence clearly. Oh no, here we are. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction.
What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday.
Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report?
Excellent question. I mean, from this angle, it does look like he's gonna get stabbed in the back, so I don't think that quite works. But the only thing that was mentioned was he was stabbed in the back. You go with that, see what happens. Two! Is this it? The contradiction, of course, lies here! Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see the tip is broken. Its tip is broken. Okay, that's what we're pointing out. But he was... oh, right. Okay. We're going straight there. Okay, right, fine. Sorry, I'd already, in my head, worked out that that wasn't the murder weapon and it's the thing in the award. I forgot we didn't already know that. Okay. Carry on. If you look closely, you can see the tip is broken.
Even I don't have to look closer to see that, Mr. Wright.
But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See, the murder weapon. Its tip is broken too.
If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body.
It was the conclusive piece of evidence to prove Joe Dark was the murderer.
I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma.
Objection. Bang. And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem?
It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken.
Ah! What's the meaning of this?
Objection. Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand.
Objection! Then how did the shard end up in the body? Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. Phoenix is both smarter and dumber than you are, yes, gotta remember that.
That's right. No, I didn't get to say what I wanted to say.
The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is that the witness's memory is mistaken.
Objection! That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly.
But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency.
Objection! Not so fast, Edgeworth. I could have just said that, but I objected anyway for fun. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence?
You're treading on thin ice, right?
All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility.
No.
Order, order, order! Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted?
Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. He is right-handed. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story there is a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife.
If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife.
What are the chances of there being two broken knives?
Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been one? Yes, yeah. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright? In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. Bang.
I assume, then, that you have some information about this other broken knife. If so, please feel free to enlighten us.
The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this photograph. Here's the real murder weapon. Well, I don't. Funnily enough, that's the bit I don't have. It's the halberd was removed at Gant's behest. So, do I show the thing that doesn't have the murder weapon, or do I show the thing that shows the murder weapon? I'm not sure, and I can't say. Photograph? The photograph actually has. He's explicitly saying, "Here is the murder weapon," so we'll use the photograph. The answer lies in the past. Look at this photograph, 2 years in the past. Right here, inside this picture.
This is a picture of the awards ceremony.
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
It's the broken murder weapon.
Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding. Makes a bit more sense, yeah. That's a broken knife. Bang. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. Bang, bang, bang.
Order, order, order!
Neil Marshall was awarded the King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. Case in the previous ones are the reason you became a compulsive saver when playing this game. Fair.
But that can't be.
Oh? And why not, Mr. Edgeworth?
Because if the King of Prosecutors Award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed.
What do you mean?
I mean, this man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
Oh. Oh! Bang, bang, bang.
But the prosecutor was the one who actually died.
That's true. What's going on here?
It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions.
Hold it. Bang, 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 bang. Wait! I remember now. I remember everything.
Witness?
Mr. Edgeworth,
What is it?
could you show me your evidence list again, please?
His list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back?
I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it.
What?
You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. The music's back. Run! All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me. Bang.
Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you've recalled, Miss Sky?
Yes, Your Honor.
First the knife mix-up, and now the blue badger.
This should be interesting. It never really leaves. Emma's recollection. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow.
Reasonable response, Judge.
This is certainly most unusual.
Objection.
Bang. Try impossible. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him until this year.
That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago.
Yes, well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Hold it.
Stop, please. Don't pursue this any further.
Lana?
What's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair.
But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Sky, we've already come this far. It's too late to turn back.
Silence. The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant.
Seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. Ditching Emma's recollection. So the man raised his knife. When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark. Yeah, at least I think it was him. You think? All I could really see were shadows.
The power outage that immediately preceded the incident is also documented in the prosecutor's office reports.
So then you...
I panicked and rushed towards both of them. Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall. She seems convinced that Doc was the one holding the knife.
But as we've just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife.
Well, I didn't know that at the time. When that dark guy knocked me down, all I could think of was, I've got to help that other person. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. What do you mean, you think? It all happened so fast, and I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it's all a kind of blur.
Miss Sky was almost killed before she was witness to a murder about to take place. With so much happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural.
I saw the man about to stab the other person who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with a knife.
What you did was very brave, young girl. So what happened next?
Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger, the thing that didn't exist.
You sure about this?
Of course. See? I even drew a picture of him here.
But it was the chief of detectives who thought up this hideous beast. And that was just this year. The blue badger didn't exist 2 years ago, and it's all quite verifiable.
I know it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him somewhere before. Now I finally remember.
Oh, brother.
Just when you thought this thing had caused enough commotion.
Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing?
He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow.
Hold! His shadow. So you mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile and all?
That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns.
This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken.
Objection! That may well be. But what did she see? What's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did.
Oh? And I suppose you have an explanation? If so, then by all means, please tell us what this shadow really was.
What was it Emma saw when that lightning flashed? Who is this blue badger, really? I just might know. The blue badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew that picture, yet she's certain she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defense's belief that on that fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the blue badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room.
Mr. Wright!
In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in this instant?
I'm gonna save just in case.
Please show us this mysterious blue badger lookalike.
Weird 3-pronged jar. Let's see if we can get a good angle to make it look like it. Well, that's missing, but... Can't remember what the angle looked. It looks pretty much like it. We'll go with it. Pretty close. Take that! Bang! The mysterious blue badger was in fact this.
But that's... what exactly is that?
I believe it's some sort of jar.
But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger.
Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint?
Our viewpoint?
I've got to show them the correct angle to look at this from. Oh, I do have to do this. Okay, well. Bloody controls. No, I didn't mean to do that. Yes, I know. Hang on. I pressed the wrong button. Look, I'm an idiot. That doesn't mean I'm wrong. Take that! It's an unstable jar. It doesn't look anything like it, but give me a sec and I'll work it out what angle it's supposed to be at. Let's go. Right. Is that blue badger? Because that's broken off, so we can't really use that as a thing. What if we did it backwards? Then it'd be further away. Like that. Yeah, like that. But, the other way. Oh god. Hang on. I'm getting there. Slowly, but extremely slowly. Like this, like that. Right? Like that. There we go. That's pretty darn close. Take that! What? That was close. I appreciate your support, Kira. That's right. It's just a plain jar, but it's a viewpoint. I gotta show them the correct angle to look at this from. What are we doing? We're trying to make the silhouette of this look like this, so that the shadow as cast. Okay, then we turn all the way around like that. That. Surely that, yeah. Yes, okay, it worked this time. Well, is this a miracle or what? They just two and you understand the pain. You get a few moments where you thought you were close enough and they were like, no, it's not. No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the blue badger, at least as a silhouette. Quite possibly at most. No, it can't be. Sure is something.
Order, order! The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this.
Objection. Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point?
What do you mean?
So that badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything.
Objection. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything.
Indeed. Very well then, please tell us. What's different now we know that the witness saw this jar?
Hang on, did we know? Let me go to the jar. It says blood traces. We don't know whose blood though. We know it was over to the left. If we look at this. Yeah, this is over here. Oh no, there's a suit of armor there. That's over to the right. Look at this graph. It doesn't change the murder weapon, because we know the murder weapon was... We've already discussed that. The murderer... I don't think this is going to prove that there was another murderer. Maybe. Location, I suppose, right?
Gonna work under the assumption of this location.
Because it's the least improbable option. Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar.
At a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright.
Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar?
Where?
The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant. Objection.
But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself.
Bang. Yes, and it is these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room, in Chief Gant's office.
Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body? From Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office?
Yes.
Why would he do that? There's no reason.
Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason.
Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright?
I finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now, tell me, what could have sent the jar flying?
That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? Ah!
The suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword.
Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have to have been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy.
No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking.
Yes. There is another possibility of what actually transpired in that room.
Another possibility?
Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless.
I don't know if I can go through with this.
Mr. Wright, what's the matter?
If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Skye knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall, boom! Stab. Second time somebody's been impaled on something inanimate. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No! Thud. Look, if it helps, Edgeworth can, sympathize on this one. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this.
So, it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented.
She's on the floor somewhere. Objection! There we are. What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Skye, but given the circumstances... Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try and pin the crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. Huh? If you'll recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're gonna have to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't.
Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence.
If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. We certainly can't get dead people to testify. Or can we? This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. Hang on, we can't get dead people to testify, says the person whose assistant is a medium. Touché, Miss Skye. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility?
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
I mean, the possibility the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life, in one manner or another. That's impossible. Yeah, but the assistant's on vacation. She's not here, though. Yeah, I know, but Phoenix saying that? We can't get dead people to testify. That's a silly idea. Where's Maya?
Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist?
Gotta think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that victim may have left behind is in the evidence. I reckon it is anyway. I think it's on the chart, right? There. Oh, I loaded. Whoops. Well, let's go through all that again. I was wondering when I was going to do that. It was quite a while into the game. It's fine. I save relatively regularly. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a big old knife in that suit of armor. People keep leaving very sharp implements lying around. Bang! Whoosh! Ah! Pfft, ow! Yeah, at least the save is now as I go, exactly. And I can just click my way through. Well, I can't do this. Good hydration break. Would Miss be pleased to know that Emma's a murderer?
This is unprecedented.
Hi. Yeah, we know. We're gonna talk to the dead. Give me a sec. Just wait. Oh, I can't remember what I said, so can do. Save. Here. There we go. It is in the evidence. Boom. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Circumstantial at best. Pushed somebody away, attempting to avert a murder. Do not be mistaken, Miss Skye. Huh? Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek. The truth. Bang. No matter how painful it may be. Bang.
Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased.
Looks pretty EM. This is the message left by the deceased.
This is that blue badger from before, right?
Oh, is he going to just speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would. Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. A message was left here, on the surface of this jar.
What do you mean?
If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar. Looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice, for some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away.
Yes, there is a line here drawn in blood.
So what you're saying is that these dots were once lions. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. One that someone apparently wiped away. But blood must have seeped into the jar where the lions changed directions. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent. No.
Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us?
Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. Gotta connect these dots to make letters. There's only one thing the victim would have written given the circumstances: his murderer's name. How to do this? And then there's that one, like that. Can we go like here? Can we do that? That one here? No, okay. And then from there to there, and then there. And can go like that, and then like that, there, and then we can also go from here to there. Pretty straightforward. Yes, because the dead person left a message is for sure something that has worked out in the past and for sure wasn't faked. But also, part of this was being hidden, so you never know. Take that! Boom. It's a defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Emma. So, this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. Smiley face.
Of all people. She may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life
Was Emma Skye. We're not done yet, though.
Seaworthy, you can't say I didn't warn you.
No, it'd be you. Because you said worthy. Chief Gant.
Do you understand the implications of what you've done?
What? What are you talking about?
2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in that case, were you not?
Yeah.
Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction.
Objection. Bang. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That is undeniable.
I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know we aren't defenders of justice?
What?
We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery, ultimately the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge.
He killed people.
Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied.
Loud noises. What's going on at what's going on at the prosecutor's office?
They might have sent an innocent man to his death.
How could he be dead there like it wasn't his fault? Order, 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 order!
Sort of yodeled that. The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. Apart from half of the people in chat. Which I think everyone in chat. Hey, again, F you. How's he responsible when the evidence he was given was doctored? We've already been over this. If you're in charge of the investigation, it's on your head. You should have made sure the evidence wasn't doctored. Save. This fact cannot be denied. You are an utter bastard, Kant. February 25th, 1206, District Court. That all happened in 6 minutes. Defendant lobby number 2. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours.
Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, I guess I am. I'll come back later.
Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it?
You got a lot of nerve, pal. Making a detective runner all around while on duty.
We've been through this one.
Top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals.
I take it Lana's having you run errands again.
Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here.
Okay.
Here, she asked me to give you this. Give this to you if there was a break in today's trial.
Evidence law? Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. You could at least study some evidence law, really.
The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message.
A message?
She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're gonna need this book.
Him? Guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. A book Nick has never read. That doesn't narrow it down. From Miss Guy explains the 2 rules of evidence law. Evidence law securely slipped into pocket.
Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though.
Hang on. We're gonna read it now before I forget. We have so much evidence. Check. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Interesting. Does that mean Edgeworth can't be, like, done in because he couldn't possibly actually present evidence in a court case if it wasn't approved by the police, which it wasn't? I don't know. We'll find out.
All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence.
That's where you're wrong, detective.
Huh?
Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me.
Mr. Edgeworth.
The real trial today hasn't begun yet.
What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Skye found out she was unwittingly caused a man's death. And now you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal.
You're missing the point, detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. Huh? She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there.
What?
And we're going to expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people, including my husband. It's time to bring it to an end. Oh, is this a good place to end? This feels like a good place to end. It was a little early, but feels like a good place to end. I can't imagine the rest of this court case is going to be short. But yeah, we're gonna hop in. Rumble, 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 rumble. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. No, it won't. Shut up. Yeah, we're good. I was thinking about it. Yeah, like I say, a little early, but I think that's reasonable. We weren't quite long yesterday, so it sort of works out. It all balances out at the end of the day. Trying to remember how long the rest of this takes. It's fine. We've got I have plans for intermediate things if we finish early or whatever. I don't know. But it's all good. It's all good. Well, I hope you're enjoying. We have now proved that Emma is a murderer. That's what I wanted to do. Trains, not trains. Although I do still have that installed. That's always a backup. But I discovered, by discovered I mean was told, I didn't, I wasn't on an archaeological dig or anything, that there are multiple versions of Gartic. There is Gartic Phone, which we're all aware of, and have played and had a good time, but there is also something called Gartic Show, where a streamer can draw something and have chat try and guess what it is, and the first person to guess gets points. And it's a neat thing. So I like the idea of doing a stream about that, where I just draw characters and you guys have to guess. You saw Barry play that. Exactly, that's where I found out about it. So yeah, might do that. I think it'll be fun. So maybe that is a possibility. And even if, I always worry about streams like that because audience participation is not something that I demand of my stream. It's like, we're here to chill. Why would I make you do things? But at the very least, it'll just give me an opportunity to draw characters quickly and be really bad. So even if no one votes, it's fine. I can just do terrible doodles of characters. I'm bored for that. Yee. I want to do that at some point anyway. So if we have a lot of time at the end of a stream, we can do that. Or tracks. Tracks is always available. But yee. I hope you all had a lovely time. This will continue. Well, it'll shut up for now. Anyway. But it will continue next Tuesday. Possibly conclude? I don't know. I don't trust this game to know that it'll finish, but what have you. Thanks for the good stream. Thank you for being here. For making it a good stream. There's only a good stream when good friends are having good times. That's not true. I can also have a good stream with no one. That's the point of streaming. If you're ever going to stream, little word of advice, make sure you're going to stream something that even if no one turns up, you can have a good time. That is very important. Think you'll finish next time? Maybe. It is a mystery. Oops has sent me a mystery. I shan't play it now because I don't know what it is. But glad you're enjoying it. Oh, these games are great. My brain is because my brain at the moment is in writing mode, I've written a bunch of stuff for the Outliers stories and all that. And I'm playing this. My brain is like, I want to write a legal drama with the Outliers. But I cannot for the life of me work out how to do it. So it is infecting my brain in that sense of the shiny part of my brain that wants to make everything I enjoy. So I must be enjoying it to want to do that. We'll work it out, it's fine. It'll be neat. I think it'll be fun. I also think it'd be fun to make Rufus the lawyer. Stoic would be too competent, M doesn't speak, and Mal is probably get barred. He might already be barred. Or disbarred. I don't know what it's called in lawyers. In the world of lawyers. I'll have to look up legal terminology as well. That poor guy. Rufus has to be thrust in situations he's not comfortable in. That's the whole point of it. Part of the fun. But yeah, this is just, yet another story that I have for the Outliers. God knows if it'll ever get made. I have so many. I want to make them all. Debating, trying to work out if there's another way of doing it, like writing them as short stories with the occasional illustration or something. I don't know. Rather than just sort of pure graphic novel. All the stories! Got like 2 mystery stories. There's one set in Rome. There's one's based on 60s campy spy thrillers. Got bloody loads of them. I want to do a Shakespearean farce with them. I'm going to try and write it in iambic pentameter. That'd be fun. I did steal that idea from, well, Shakespeare, but also Inside Number 9. But I wanna do more with them. I wanna do that. I wanna do October Noir. I wanna do bloody everything. I don't ever have time. Part of the fact I never have time is because I'm bad at organizing my time. New crossword coming soon. But these things happen. I've also got to finish the June comic, which I will continue tomorrow morning. I am now on the shading stage, by which I mean I've just finished the color stage, so I'm on 0.0 of the shading stage. But that is the last stage, so it will definitely be done by the end of the month, which is nice. We'll get on that tomorrow morning, try and make the colors of the scene be a little more cohesive, because at the moment they're a bit all over the place. But you got this. We'll get there, it'll be fine. I also need to work out I want to work out, I don't know how to do this, whether to do it on stream or something, if I get time between comics. But, talking about making sort of longer comics and stuff like that, I would need to work out a style to render which is faster, because at the moment I'm using my illustrative style to make comics, which is taking way too long. It looks really nice, but it's taking way too long. I'll carry on doing it for these ones because they're fun. But if I want to do a 30-40 page comic, I gotta find something else. So might do some little exploratory streams where we just sort of work something out, mess around, experiment. I also like the idea of doing like a cover drawing for each of the comic ideas I have for the Outliers. Be like, boom, here's this comic, and here's this comic, and here's this comic, and maybe you guys can vote on which one I make. I don't know. Ideas, all the ideas. It's 9 o'clock. We made it. I was going to say we made it to 2 hours, but I started slightly late, so we haven't yet made it to 2 hours. But I guess after music we will. Blah 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 blah. Woo indeed. But yes, I'll be back tomorrow morning. I'll also be back Saturday morning, both times working on the June comic, unless I finish it before Saturday morning, which is unlikely because I have a commission. And then Saturday evening we have the Lord of the Rings of our little fellowship running around trying to work out how to sync up our little quests. We're getting there though, I think. I think we sorted that out. But yeah, also tomorrow evening, presumably, there will be a Chib stream. Maybe more Guild Wars. Or what have you. Fun chill times with the Jeeb. Always good. Yeah, figuring things out. We're getting there. I don't know how MMOs work. But one day, perhaps, maybe, we will. And by we, I mean I. Everyone else seems to have gotten it so far. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyway, I'm gonna leave. And I'm gonna open some windows because it's bloody hot in here. Have a lovely time, everyone. Look after yourselves. Stay cool. Get hydrated. Go grab drinks. And do something nice for yourself. Because you deserve it. Have a good one, everyone. Goodbye, bye, 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 bye.